Hey, Amy.
Hello.
Amy, let folks know a little bit about you, and then I'm going to throw a whole bunch of weird questions at you. Go.
Oh, amazing. All right. So I describe myself as an ex Fortune 500 marketer. I have a
Hmm.
long history in the entertainment industry, turned educator, turned fractional CMO. So try saying that three times fast.
Hmm.
I have 25 years experience crafting custom marketing strategies for everything from global media and entertainment properties like Deadpool, Star Wars, Snoopy,
Hmm.
you name it, family action adventure, comedy, drama, etc., to startup and small business ventures across more than 15 industries. I took a break from the entertainment industry and decided to hang my shingle because I really wanted to help founders and help small business owners make a difference, achieve their dreams. My friend calls me a midwife for other people's dreams, but
There you go.
basically I try to help startups and small businesses find their marketing nirvana, find their purpose, find their passion, and connect that with their audience to create differentiated companies.
Okay,
So
so let's
I'm
talk
a
about those clients then.
okay.
Tell me something that they typically, when you start working with them, or just prior to that, what do they typically not understand about marketing?
Yeah, so it depends on where they are
Hmm.
in their life cycle. But if you're really early on, there's a lot of conversations about finding product market fit and engaging with your customer audience to make sure you're building something that they want. One of the stories I like to tell is that as entrepreneurs or as people in general, we decide that there's a problem that we want to solve because we're having it. And then we think everyone else is just like us. So they're going
Yeah.
to love what I'm doing. And we don't stop to have that conversation and make sure there's other people out there who really do want what we're doing. And my own business is an example. I evolved from sort of a full service marketing agency where I was working primarily with ex colleagues, right? Helping in the entertainment industry to now providing education and resources and information on the small business side. So it took me a while of talking to people to figure out where I wanted to fall in the ecosystem.
Oh, you talk to a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people about marketing, right? You
Yeah.
listen to a lot of people talk to you about marketing, whether they know much or maybe a lot about. When people talk to you about marketing, clients, prospective clients, like, what's overrated and what's underrated right now?
What's overrated? Overrated social media ads.
Yeah.
Um, I can buy so like people tend to think it's the shortcut to success.
Hmm.
I can get traction on social media, I can create an audience, I can run an ad, and I can sell a lot of products. And that can happen, but it's not a overnight thing. And it's really, really going to work if you're authentic and you try to build a connection with your customer audience. The other thing about that people forget, and marketers always talk about this, is that you want to own your audience. So you
Hmm.
want them to come in and sign up for your email list, be a customer so you can connect with them directly. You don't want to let X or Instagram or TikTok own that relationship because that business model could change on a dime. So you really want to have that direct relationship, which is something that like we're in what web 3.0 now, this
Yeah.
new universe has made possible. You don't need to give all of your customers or all of your product or your services through another third party, right? And where they own that relationship. So it's really the era of personalization, relationships, and direct to consumer, direct to customer.
And what's underrated?
What's underrated?
What do you wish more people talked about or knew, but no one seems to like put as much emphasis on it as they really should?
That strategy matters.
Yeah.
Sitting down and saying, this is my brand, this is what I want to build, this is how I want to talk to people, this is my area of expertise, this is really what I'm about. And putting your own voice and your own perspective into that is what makes the difference between just going out there and being generic.
Um, Here's a hypothetical for you. Okay. It's the first day of you at a new engagement. You're sitting down with the CEO. You've had some conversations, but this is day one. This is real. You're getting paid now, right?
Hmm.
The CEO is pretty open and frank and says, look, you've worked with a lot more CEOs than I've worked with CMOs. So is there something that I should start doing now that there's a CMO here? Or is there something that I should stop? or knock off doing and not think that I should be doing it? What do you say?
Um, well, it depends a lot on that CEO's interest and knowledge and experience in marketing, right? If
Right.
they're hands-on, if they love it, if they have knowledge, then I want to collaborate with them. I want to be a partner. If they're not, then I'll say what I need you to do is tell me your vision, tell me what you want. Let me ingest that, come back to you and make sure I understand where you want to go. Then let me bring you a plan. You can respond to it. Just let go, right? So it
Right.
just depends. I like to say depends on the level of interest the person I'm working with has in being directly engaged in marketing. I always look at it, the conversation I have with people, time is money. You don't usually have to explain that to a CEO, but
Right.
on the earlier stage business level, sometimes you do. What's the value of your time? If it takes you an hour to figure out how to do this or 4, is it really worth you spending your time doing it? And let me take it over. If you understand it already, great, let's work on it together.
Okay. Another hypothetical. You're on stage. Everyone in the audience became a fractional CMO yesterday.
Mhm.
Like there's hundreds of them. They're brand new.
Mhm.
Finish this thought for me and expound on it. You guys, fractional CMOs, right? You guys are going to be shocked by what?
Um, it's actually a lot more work than you think. It's different than working at a company full time. I personally, because my background is entertainment, so I would work on 4 or 5 properties at a time. I like the variation of having different clients in different sectors and thinking about different audiences and different opportunities. I like that. It keeps me excited and motivated. But there is a point where there's too much task switching and too much um, changing thought processes, right? Where I just get slowed down by that. So I learned over time that I can only have so many 2 to 3 at a time fractional clients where I'm deeply invested because I like to say I chunk. I don't task switch, I chunk switch. Like I need to
Mm-hmm.
spend large chunks of time invested in one client and then move to the next client. Like we're talking days, right? So I need to be able to manage that. Also, bringing in new clients while you're working on clients. So working on your business, attracting new customers, and then working on the customers you have. It's quite a tall task. So you really have to get sophisticated about who you want to work with and the way you want to do it. Otherwise, you're going to end up 24/7ing it.
And what's your advice for all of these new fractional CMOs as far as finding their first 10 clients?
My first 10 clients came through my network. So
Right.
I think that's probably a good place for most fractional CMOs to start. If you're a fractional CMO, you've worked in your industry for a long time and you probably do have a pretty deep network. Then secondarily, after that, I started, I host calls with Co-Founders Lab. So that's where I got to know the startup community pretty well. And just listening, that was like market research at scale, right? And I quickly learned what their top marketing questions were, and I could see in that audience which people were ready for marketing and which people were still really early on. So my rationale for that story, my reason for sharing it is that you need a platform or a place where you can go and connect with lots of people to find out how you're going to organically bring in customers.
Right. Okay.
You're
What do
building a
you
funnel
think?
for yourself, right?
Right. You're in a sales business. You're in marketing, but your business is really a sales led business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what do you think companies don't understand about talking about themselves in a marketplace?
Um, One, authenticity. Authenticity
Right.
matters, and it matters more and more every day. And it matters more and more depending on who your customer is. So as you go down in age in terms of your customer audience, they care more and more and more and more about authenticity. Two, differentiation matters. So how are you different from the competitors in your market? A lot of that can come down to just what your values are and how you want to portray yourself in the industry. Doesn't just necessarily have to be that my widget is this much different than this widget. Also consistency and clarity. We get overcomplicated. We lingo things. We use acronyms. Just talk to people like you talk to people.
Right.
and make sure they know who, what you're saying.
All right. It's 2025. Another hypothetical. It's 2025.
It
You're,
is.
you're talking to January 2024 Amy, right? And you say, wow,
Yeah.
like this is different than it was even 12, 18 months ago. What is that thing?
Hmm. Oh gosh, that's so easy. It's how much AI
Yeah.
is taking over so much of what you can do. Um, and so much opportunity there. Like my focus as we lean into the new year is like, how can I use AI to build processes for myself that I can then
Hmm.
help my clients build? Because there's just so much opportunity out there. And
Yeah.
just the platforms themselves, they do some interesting things, but I think it's figuring out how to bring it all together that's the secret.
Are there any in marketing? Are there any sort of channels or platforms or tools or ideas that you think are going to become critical in 2025?
Become critical. Um,
Everybody should be doing X or thinking about X or
I mean,
accepting X.
everything I'm reading, everything I'm looking at is
Yeah.
just the increasing importance of video content,
Hmm.
content creation and storytelling. Whether you're storytelling with a content partner, with an influencer or yourself directly. It's really all about the visual conversation so people can get a feel for you. They don't want to just read about it anymore.
Has the okay in the fractional CMO world, has the process of finding clients changed much in the last year or two, three? Either for you or generally, you think for fractional CMOs?
I don't think so. For me, it's about, again, the sales funnel. So
Mm-hmm.
getting out in front of audiences and making connections and figuring out, what your audience is and how you can service them. So for me, it's just about finding new ways to get out and talk to people and get in front of new audiences. And
Mm.
that can be through podcasts, it can be through speaking, it can be through communities, it can be through a lot of things, but it's really just you don't get to sit behind a desk. You have to go out and be personable and talk to people, and it's fun.
For some people,
It's hard to do it from behind a desk.
yeah, yeah. Whether
Yeah.
it's fun or not, whether you like it or not, or you think you're good at it or not,
Yeah.
that's the game you're in.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, do you think there are cases where a fractional CMO shouldn't be thinking of themselves as a personal brand when it comes to their marketing and their sales outreach?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question
Yeah.
because I mean, I'll tell you my own journey. The reason my company is the Launchbox, right, is because I started as a brand and I wanted to be sort of seen as an agency.
Hmm.
And I came, 360 to now that business is me and it is me. I am the brand. And now I have to bring myself into the brand. So my answer to that question after that story is no, you are your brand.
Yeah. All right. Another hypothetical. I'm CEO of a company. I'm not your client, but I'm a friend of yours. And I'm asking you, so Amy, I'm going to start looking for a fractional CMO. Like there seem to be an awful lot of marketing people like on the bench looking for work. And so I'm in sort of an inverted situation from a few years ago. For a few years ago, it was hard to find people. Now it's hard to know who to weed out. Uh, got any advice on how I find, starting from scratch, how I find a great fractional CMO?
Well, there's a couple of I can tell you how to pick one, but how to
Mm-hmm.
find one, there's a couple of different paths. This is going to sound silly, but LinkedIn is an incredible resource. You can create a job description using AI pretty quickly, filter it, make it great. You can run your job posting on LinkedIn very reasonably, if not for free, and you can create filters inside that LinkedIn that will then tell you who meets your criteria,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can go from there to figure out who you want to meet. The other way is word of mouth. There's plenty of fractional CMO companies popping up. So these are fractional CMOs that are getting work through companies. There's also fractional CMO communities popping up. So those are places where you can go to find a
Yeah.
large batch to pick from. In terms of hiring a fractional CMO, the fastest shortcut to success is going to be to find someone who has experience in your sector.
Right.
because they won't have to do the learning to
Right.
get themselves up to speed. So if they have a history in your sector, that's a good starting point. And secondarily, talk to them. If you can't get along with them or you aren't engaged in a 30-minute conversation, don't work with them. Me, I also want someone I would hire, and I would tell any one of my friends, if you're hiring a fractional CMO, they have to understand your vision and not just be selling their strategy. Like
Right.
everything I do is customized because it's about what that person wants to achieve, not how I think things should be done.
All right. And uh, last question, but kind of broad.
Hmm.
The economy has been all over the place the last few years. It's been up, it's been down, it's been my employment's been like crazy, and then not enough of it, and all kinds of stuff. And it's very low, and yet lots of people aren't employed. It's really weird right now. How's the economy, as you talk to your clients and prospective clients, how's the economy influencing their marketing priorities and their marketing budgets?
Oh, marketing is easily the first thing to get cut
Yeah.
and the last thing to get funded.
Hmm.
Only because it's a longer lead sort of item. Like you don't see immediate return on investment. So I think if someone's been invested in marketing and they have a working funnel, they're much more likely to continue with it. If they're
Right.
starting out, it's hard to pull the trigger. So it's about finding low-hanging fruit and ways to sort of bring people into the system and the ecosystem and try things until they get their feet wet and they feel warm and fuzzy, and then they jump in further. But it's
All right.
hard. And also I see that on the startup side too, right? Like their first investment is usually going to be whatever it takes to get something
Right.
built. If they don't have sales experience, sales, and
Hmm.
then finance,
Right.
and then marketing.
Right.
And I always try to explain people like you need a little bit of marketing in the beginning. We talked about this already, product market fit, and then you can kind of ignore it for a while. You set up your brand and then come back to me.
Right. Basically, like planting a seed and then going to do the other stuff and then coming back.
Mhm.
All right. Any? I've never given anyone this opportunity before, but I figure
Uh-oh.
today's different. Uh, as we wind down, a question for you: do you
Mhm.
have any advice that you want to give to like, the world of marketing, the world of startups, or the world of fractional CMOs?
That's
Based
extremely broad.
very broad,
Um,
gives you a lot of room. Pick something.
Pick something.
Who are we
I
talking to? The world of marketing, potential clients, fractional
We're
CMOs.
talking to potential clients.
Okay.
Um, Really to spend the time thinking about why you're getting into business,
Hmm.
what's your mission, what's your vision, what are your values, what's your passion, what's your purpose, to cement down a brand strategy and a brand communication plan and what you want to be in the world, and to do that early so that then you can use it to make decisions going forward.
Right.
It eliminates so much iteration and back and forth and volleying when you have um like I say, a foundation, a plan that you can say, okay, this aligns, this doesn't align. It can help you move forward faster. That's the single thing I would tell somebody to do.
Okay. So who should be contacting you these days, and how would you like them to do it?
So well, anyone can contact me. I love talking to people about marketing, whether it be other marketers, um, business owners, potential clients, etc. I can talk for hours. I can't believe you're getting rid of me already. But best way to connect with me is to get with me on LinkedIn, and there's a link there, and it'll direct you to contact me. You can set up a free introductory call, and 20 minutes to pick my brain, and more if you want it.
All right. And then and it's on screen. So linkedin.com in an AZ. Oh, Amy Zwagerman.
A
So AZ.
Zwagerman.
This is for the
Yep.
audio people because not everyone's going to see.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. God, this has been great. Uh, so thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it too.
All right. And thanks for watching. You're probably watching it as a clip, but thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next time. There are thousands of clips to watch
See
now.
you guys all
Bye.
in soon.